In this session of the North Oak Stretching Series, we will be discussing hamstring, glute, and IT band stretches. All of these are designed to be done outside of practice or competition in order to increase the individual athlete's flexibility. With these stretches, we want to make sure that you're not getting into a painful range of motion and that they're pushing as much as they can without pain. The first stretch we're going to do is a wall stretch. All you're going to need for this is an empty wall where they can put their legs up and then a flat surface. We're using a table in this, but you can also just have them lay on the floor. Brody is our model today, and he will be performing the wall stretch. First, he's going to start by sitting next to the wall. Then we're going to have him lean back and twist so that his feet go up the wall. Now, one thing I want to stress is that their butt does not have to be touching the wall. They just need to be as close as they can get comfortably without any pain coming down the back of the leg. The first position we're going to do is with the legs together. This is going to stretch the majority of the hamstring. We want them to hold this stretch for about 2 minutes. If they can't hold that long and it starts to get painful, it's okay to stop. The next position we're going to do is we're going to have him slide his feet apart until it's comfortable. This is going to emphasize stretching the inside hamstrings that run along the inside of the leg. Once again, his butt doesn't need to be touching the wall, so adjust it as the individual needs. Also, we don't want any pain with this, so if they can't move their legs that far, you don't have to. The last position we're going to do for wall stretching, we're going to have them bring their legs together, cross over just like this, and then we're going to have them slide this top foot down, and this will stretch the outside of the leg as well as the glutes and piriformis. Once again, we're going to hold this for about 2 minutes, and with this one we want to make sure that we switch to the other side and do that as well so that they stay even. We're going to hold each of these for about 2 minutes, and then that equals about 10 minutes. Next up, we're going to do the strap stretch. So in the strap stretch, what we're going to have Brody do is lie down onto his back on a table or another flat surface. We're going to give him a strap. Now we have a stretching strap right here, but you can also use a belt, a TheraBand, anything that you can get enough force to pull the foot up. We're going to have both ends in the hands, and then we're going to loop the other part through the arch of the foot. Our first position for the strap stretch is just going to be pulling the leg straight up. With the leg straight up, we're hitting the majority of the hamstring. Once again, we're not trying to get to a painful place. All we're trying to do is get a nice stretch down the back of the leg. If there's a burning sensation that goes all the way to the heel, that just means we're overstretching. So all we'll have him do is either back off this way, or he can bend the knee a little bit, but not a lot. The next position, we're going to have him let his leg fall outwards. And with this, we're going to emphasize more the middle hamstrings. Now, if you notice, with this stretch, his leg didn't move. Some people may need to let the strap loosen a little bit so it's not quite as big of a stretch. The next one we're going to do is have him actually swing the foot over to this side. This is going to emphasize the stretch on the outside hamstring, IT band, piriformis, and glutes. Now, I want you to notice that his back isn't twisting. The only thing that's moving is his hip. That's going to emphasize the correct position for the stretch. All right, with this stretch, we want to hold each position for about 20 to 30 seconds and do each one 3 times. Our next stretch is going to be the downward dog stretch. This is a very common yoga stretch that's used to emphasize stretching in the posterior chain. To do this stretch, we want to have him assume the bottom position of a push-up, flat on either a table or the ground or a gym floor. All right, then we're going to have him push his hips up and back so that he forms an L. With this, we want him then to walk his feet up to a comfortable spot where he feels the stretch down the back of his leg. This is a very intense feeling for most people. So what we can do in order to help with that feeling is have him pump and bend the knees just like that. We don't want a fast pump, just enough to help relieve some of the stress. I also want you to notice that there should be a straight line from his wrist all the way up to his hips, and that allows for stretch to be in the proper place. We want to hold this stretch for about 20 to 30 seconds and do it 3 times as well. Okay? The next stretch is going to be the piriformis stretch. This is a muscle that's on the outside, and it will also help stretch the glutes. The first position I'm going to show you how to do this in is going to be on the back. Once again, we're going to have him lay on his back. Similar to the wall stretch, we're going to have him cross his leg over the knee, and then we're going to have him bend his other knee and pull it up to his chest. Then we're going to have him grasp behind the thigh and pull that to his chest. He should feel a nice stretch on the outside of this hip and leg. All right, the other position you can do, go ahead and hop off the table. The other position that we can have him do is against a wall or against a table, a couch, or a bench. We're gonna have him pick his foot up onto the table like this, all right? And you should feel a big stretch on the outside of the leg and hip. There are two ways to make this more intense. Either we can have him squat down, which is gonna increase stretch, or we can have him lean forward. Some people may need a combination of both of them in order to feel a stretch in the right place. So you need to play around with that and find the best one for the individual athlete. We wanna hold this for about 20 to 30 seconds, 3 times, and I would recommend doing it on both legs. The next stretch we're gonna have is the hip out stretch. For the hip out stretch, we're going to be stretching the IT band mainly, but may involve some of the piriformis and the hip flexor in the stretch as well. For this stretch, we're gonna use the left leg. He's gonna put all of his weight on the left leg and then shift his right leg across as a balance point. We're gonna then have him push his hips out to the left, and I want you to notice how his shoulders don't tip or lean. All we're doing is pushing that hip out. This should target the lateral structures of the leg and hip very well. Now if you notice from a side angle, we're gonna have him do the same thing, except he's going to push his hips out and back, which is gonna emphasize the piriformis and some of the glutes as well as the IT band, or we can have him push his hips out and forward. By doing that, we're gonna involve the anterior lateral structures as well as the hip flexor. With that, this concludes the hamstring, glute, and IT band stretches.